Live in HD from Fox 11. The news starts now.
Breaking news as nearly 300 people died today when a commercial jet was shot down in Ukraine.
Images show pieces of the Boeing 777 scattered over a wide area.
Our thoughts and prayers are with all the families of the passengers wherever they call home.
And while the mourning begins, the world waits to see how this will impact an already unstable situation in Ukraine.
Balanced news and severe weather coverage. This is Fox 11 News at 5.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight. Take a look. Ukraine's president is calling this an act of terrorism and is calling for an international investigation. But there are still questions about who exactly is to blame. Now, the plane appears to have broken up before it crashed this morning. No distress call was made and no one survived. 280 passengers and 15 crew members were on board. The plane left Amsterdam and was headed for Kuala Lumpur. It was shot as it was flying over eastern Ukraine. That's where Ukraine's government has been fighting for months with pro-Russian separatists. Aviation authorities, including the FAA in the United States, have issued recent warnings about not flying over parts of Ukraine. Now, the wreckage is near a village that is currently under the control of pro-Russian separatists. The rebels there say they are certain that Ukrainian troops shot the plane down. Ukraine's president insists that his forces are not behind it. President Obama today called it a terrible tragedy and also said it's very early in the investigation.
And I've directed my national security team to stay in close contact with the Ukrainian government. The United States will offer any assistance we can to help determine what happened and why.
President Obama also talked on the phone today with Russian President Vladimir Putin, but we don't know what was said.
And as we continue our coverage, that phone call may be notable because there are questions about Russian involvement. Putin says Ukraine bears the responsibility. He has also long denied that his country is supporting rebels in the overall conflict. But his country may have the technology that is believed to have been used to shoot down the plane. What's known for certain at this hour is very little. But an advisor, Anton Gerashenko, to Ukraine's interior minister, on Facebook said the plane was flying at 33,000 feet when it was hit by a missile from a Buk launcher, which can fire up to an altitude of 72,000 feet. Also, a research fellow in Russian studies at the Royal United Services Institute, his name is Igor Sudagayan, said both Ukrainian and Russian forces have the SA-17 missile systems. And a similar launcher was seen by Associated Press journalists earlier in the day near an eastern Ukrainian town held by the rebels. Sudagayan said that Russia had supplied separatist rebels with military hardware, but he had seen no evidence of the transfer of that type of system from Russia. The weapons that the rebels are known to have do not have the capacity to reach beyond 15,000 feet. Ukraine's security services also late this afternoon produced what it called intercepted telephone conversations of a rebel commander claiming rebel forces had shot down the plane. That information, however, has not been independently verified. There have also been disputes over claims of planes being shot down over eastern Ukraine earlier this week. A Ukrainian fighter jet shot down by an air-to-air missile from a Russian plane, and Ukrainian authorities claiming that's more evidence of Russia directly supporting the separatist insurgents. And pro-Russian rebels claiming responsibility for strikes yesterday on 2 other Ukrainian fighter jets. A Russian news agency is also quoting a rebel leader as saying that they intend to call a 3-day ceasefire to allow an investigation into the crash.
Tonight, we are still waiting to learn about the passengers that were aboard the plane that crashed, or that was shot down, excuse me. A spokesperson for the State Department was asked today about a report of 23 American citizens on board. The reports cite a flight manifest.
We've seen the public reports. I spoke to our team right before I came out here. We don't have any additional details at this point on American citizens. We're looking to, of course, obtain that information. As soon as we have it available, we'll make it available to all of you.
And as we mentioned, that plane took off from Amsterdam. There has been no word from the Netherlands about passenger identities either. The Dutch Prime Minister, who was at a European Union summit, is heading back to his country to deal with the crash.
This appears to be the 5th time that a commercial jet has been shot down in the last couple of generations. Those previous incidents, first, 1973, when a Libyan Arab Airlines flight from Tripoli to Cairo went into Israeli airspace. The plane was intercepted, but the pilots refused to land. It was shot down. 108 people died, 5 survived. Second incident, 1978, a Korean Airlines jet straight over the Soviet Union. It was fired upon, made a landing on a lake. 2 people were killed by the hostile fire. 1983, a Korean Airlines flight, New York to Seoul, shot down. Also in Soviet airspace, all 240 passengers and 29 crew members were killed. And 1988, an Iran Air flight from Tehran to Dubai shot down by a missile from an American naval vessel. All 274 passengers, 16 crew members killed. The Navy said later thought it was a fighter jet. Of course, the incident today is the second disaster of the year for Malaysia Airlines. Flight 370 disappeared in March while flying from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. That search has concentrated on the Indian Ocean west of Australia. The airline's been criticized for its handling of the investigation, and conspiracy theories have included the possibility the plane was shot down. But so far, no agency, no country has suggested any link between these two disasters.
So to recap what we know from this breaking news, 295 people are dead after a plane crash in the Ukraine. They were on a Malaysian Airlines flight headed from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur. The plane was shot down. So far, no group is taking responsibility. We have much more coverage of today's crash on our website, fox11online.com. You'll find all sorts of information there, and it also includes a photo gallery from the crash site.